Welcome to the Final Score Network and the Final Score Podcast, presented by Team Anders Realtors. I'm Andy. He's former NCAA student athlete and co-host.
Ryan, Cam, two-hand monster flush off the inbound. Ryan, Cam, slam, jam. Oh boy.
Find the TFS pod and our playlists wherever you stream your podcast or music. Follow us on X at TheFinalScore35. Oh, and one more note before we get started.
I'd like to apologize to anyone I've not offended yet. Please be patient. I'll get to you shortly.
Welcome into the 235th edition of the TFS pod, back after a week off, relaxed, rested, ready to go for the month of August. Football has already started. The Lions played 5 days ago, played terrible. Not going to go undefeated with every game this year. Darn it. But Michigan State football is 24 days away. I think college football is 18 for week 0. NFL just, what would that be? About 32 days, 33 days. So right around the corner from the main event. Tigers still holding first in the AL Central. After that bad stretch, they're playing a little better here in the last couple weeks. After just an abomination of a 2.5-3 week period coming out of the All-Star break. Let's get to this thing. I'm going to take the podium and I want to talk about pro athletes acting oppressed. We've talked endlessly about athletes demanding money, whether that be professional, college, you name it. I want to specifically talk about pro athletes because I'm sick and tired of seeing this all over Fox Sports, my alerts, my CBS alerts about players sitting out, players doing sit-ins and holdouts for wanting more money. Guys, you make millions upon millions of dollars to play a freaking game, and you're just ruining like the goodwill that you build up by acting like a child. Give me more money. I'm not going to play until I get more money. For example, James Cook, he's a pretty good running back for the Bills. He's not great. He's no Jahmyr Gibbs. He's no Saquon Barkley. He's holding out because of business, because he wants more money. It's like, dude, you do it 2 or 3 years in a row, then maybe we can talk. You have one good year and you demand money? No, the society we live in is a terrible one where people just demand things and want instant gratification. There's no long-term things. There's no building. Micah Parsons, he wants to trade from the Cowboys because they won't give him the biggest contract ever. Hendrickson from the Bengals, he's kind of done the same thing. T. Higgins kind of did it. Le'Veon Bell sat out a whole year because of it a few years ago. It's just stupid. I'm tired of these athletes just acting like they're oppressed. Same with like the WNBA. These people, we need more money. We need more money. No, you don't. I talked about that last time. Just ridiculous behavior. Happens in the NFL, happens in the NBA. Baseball's about the only one where it doesn't. Those contracts are ludicrous anyways.
Right.
NHL, you don't really hear about it. Golf, they always demand more money. Even though they're making $2 million to win an event that no one really cares about, like the Wyndham Championship. But whatever, or the Live making $5 million or whatever it is per win with 5 people watching. Stupid, tired of it. Everything's transactional, money-based. The networks, the players, the coaches. Stupid.
There's a lot of privilege out there, and the cost is paid by we, the fans. All right, so I'm going to actually take a little bit of a throw it in reverse for how I usually feel about the NCAA, which is kind of a waste of space, and say, for a change, at least somebody there got it right. Because as Ryan and I have been talking about for a while and kind of, vomited mouth predicting that the NCAA tournament was going to expand, they actually voted against it. They finally got something right. Because once you continue to expand, what happens, just like everything else in college sports and pro sports that Ryan just touched on, is putting toothpaste back in the tube and you can't get it right. So I'm going to give you, and I've kind of talked about these before, but I just thought here's the reasons that the NCAA got it right. Expanding the tournament from 264 and then eventually 68. 68's okay because the 4 playing games are a little bit of spice. I don't mind those. So 68, 64, it's kind of 6 and 1, half dozen the other for me. But if you expand it anymore, you're going to dilute the drama. March Madness thrives on urgency. Every game matters. Expanding it waters it down, especially in the early rounds. More teams is more mediocre matchups, less chaos, and fewer Cinderella runs. All the things that we love about March Madness. It also, as we've talked about a lot, devalues the regular season. Big non-conference wins and strong conference play matter. Expansion makes it easier to coast in the tournament. You know, you can go. It's already, we've talked about it in the pod during basketball season, how it used to be that you had to get to the magic number of 500 in the Big Ten, for example, to make the tournament. And now you can go, 9 and 11 or 8 and 12, and you can make the tournament. It's bad enough as it is. Not a lot of things that Dan Hurley says makes sense or is right, but as he said, it's a privilege to play in the tournament, not a right.
Right.
Let's get into the logistical nightmare if they ever expanded it. It's already in a tight window between Selection Sunday and the Masters. You don't want to make it anymore. More games, more travel, more venues, more headaches for players, fans, broadcasters, and it stretches out the tournament, and frankly, you lose interest. There is just this amazing build-up to Selection Sunday, and then the first 4 games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Thursday and the Friday, noon to midnight games where I take the days off to just sit there and vegetate watching basketball. I mean, there's nothing like really the first weekend, especially. You expand the tournament, you got to expand the weekends. And by the end, it's like it's fatigue. Your team drops out, and if you're a big enough basketball fan like Ryan and I, you're interested anyway, and you're watching every single game. But if you're a casual fan and your team drops out early, you're going to stick around and watch it for 4 weeks? No. There's no demand. Like, ask the fans for a change of what we want, right? Like, nobody asks us what we want when it comes to games as fans. It's all about the TV revenue. It's all about the money, just like it is with these players, and it causes NIL issues. It causes transfer issues. It causes contract holdouts, so on and so forth. Why don't you, for a change, I would applaud the day that a league actually asked the fans what they want. Do NFL fans want more games overseas? They want to get to a point where every team has a game overseas every year. Is that what NFL fans want?
No.
Do I, as a Michigan State fan, or Ryan, you as a Michigan State fan, want to give up a 7th home game for the second time, or no, for the third time in a row, right?
Second time in 3 years.
Second time in 3 years because our former athletic director felt like, well, not enough people go to the game. No. Did you ask us? No. Well, the people in Detroit care. No, they don't. They would drive the hour and a half to East Lansing to tailgate on campus of their beloved alma mater. Like, ask the fans. Put me in charge of a sport as the ambassador or the director of fan wants and needs, and I will tell you that sport will become the greatest thing. And I'll tell you, it's a reason why minor league baseball continues to thrive, because guess who they put first?
The fans.
The fans. They don't have 50,000 people at games. They don't have $1 million home plate seats. They focus on the fans, and that's why it does well. Imagine if a major league sport did that, or college basketball did that. And then another reason, it risks undermining the mid-majors. Like, the beauty of the tournament is the run of the mid-major, and we've had a lot of those over the last few years, or the last several years, decades even, where a mid-major makes a rise up. Like, anymore, you can't count Gonzaga in that, but early on in like late 90s, early 2000s, it was fun to watch Gonzaga show up in the tournament. What are they going to do? Can they make a run? Or, the Creightons or the Drakes or, whoever. You water it down, less mid-majors. Bubble teams aren't built for madness. I don't have the stats in front of me, but don't even tell me. Okay, so for every argument of like an NC State who had to run the gamut a couple years ago and win the ACC tournament just to get in, and they got to, did they get to the Final Four that year?
Yep.
Got to the Final Four. For every one of those, or a first 4 team that catches fire and goes, there's a million mediocre teams that get blown out from a big conference in the first round, or they're the upset, they're the 5-12 upset or whatever. And it's like, the tournament is built on the beauty of the upset. Like, everybody wants to pick a perfect bracket and win their contest, but I guarantee you, if you ask most people that are not professional gamblers, they're rooting they'll root to kill their bracket for an amazing upset or string of upsets, like Fairleigh
100%.
Dickinson over Purdue a couple years ago, or the Florida Atlantic San Diego State, Final Four. We've talked about this. The power conferences would feast if they expanded. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants a 13th place Iowa or Rutgers in the tournament. They just don't. If they can't even go close to 500 in their own league, why the hell should they be in the tournament? I think it's viewer fatigue. We talked about this a little bit. Like, the longer the tournament goes, the less the average person wants to watch it. There's the excitement in that jam-packed 3 weeks. Imagine Joe Lunardi's head might explode if he had to figure out and follow all these teams all year. And the last reason it is a stupid idea is because it's all about the money, and again, it's not about the fans. So all those are the reasons why the NCAA got it right, and I applaud the NCAA for getting it right, because I will call the NCAA on all the bajillion things that they get wrong, and they still have lots of things on my list that they still haven't gotten right, like what has been going on at Michigan for years now, while everybody else is getting penalties for different things. They got this one right. I'll give you a little bit of kudos for that.
Yeah, for once. I think they need about 500 more things to go their way to even get back to even at this point, but baby steps. We'll take that.
Yeah.
All right, out of bounds this week. There's nothing too crazy going on, so we just want to hit on just preseason. That's the word of the day. Preseason.
Preseason, and this is coming from somebody who had to defend the sponsorship, the Amway Coaches Poll. That was less about the poll itself, because that just got the name out there. It was more about the benefits that we got from that sponsorship. But I used to defend all the time why the preseason poll mattered, because the coaches poll came out just last week. It comes out July 31st or August 1st every year. Here's the thing. It's for fodder on things like podcasts. It's for fodder on radio shows and whatever. Enough. I'm tired of preseason rankings. I'm tired of preseason NFL football. I'm tired of preseason any sport. Spring training is too long. All of it, if you want to go and you want to have, you got to have your training camps and stuff. I get that. But you're playing, everybody's like, oh, the Lions, oh, well, they lost whatever it was, 34-7. We didn't watch a lick of it because we were in Cabo. They didn't play first stringers. It's about, maybe finding guys that are going to fill out your roster or whatever. But here's my point. Why can't you do that with scrimmages? Which teams do now all the time. Lions on Hard Knocks went down to Carolina, or they went to Indy.
Yeah, they do
scrimmages. I get it. It's for TV, right? You'll say it's for the fans. You're still charging regular season ticket prices to go to those games, and the games are shit. It doesn't matter. So stop with it already. You have to have preseason, right? Obviously, guys have got to get in shape. You need to have camp and whatever, but we don't need to watch it on TV. We don't need preseason polls that just kind of automatically make us think teams are great that don't end up being great. I'll give you a great example. Going into my freshman year at Michigan State was a top 20 team and lost in the very first game that I was a freshman to freaking Central Michigan for the first time. 20-3, no less. It wasn't even close as a ranked team. The preseason rankings are based on nothing but hyperbole and bullshit. And it's it's a waste. Stop patronizing us as fans. Again, ask us our opinion. Our opinion is don't even come out with rankings until the third week of the season, until the rubber has met the road a little bit and teams have played. There's a reason why the old BCS and now playoff rankings don't come out until the end of October. Let teams play games. Yeah. If national championships were won in September, Michigan would have 1 million of them, because they always start out great in September because they don't play anybody. And then what happens? And they've got all their September Heismans, and then for years, until they started to cheat more recently and more obviously, they would fizzle as the season went on. So my point is preseason is just a waste. You're wasting our time. You're wasting your time. I know why. It's about money or whatever, but fans really don't care. We're ready for football. So you know what? Dangle that carrot a little bit longer and make us wonder and read what's going on in camp, what's going on at Michigan State camp, college football does it right. They have 2-3 scrimmages. You get your daily reports from coaches or whatever. We don't need to see the preseason games on TV. Good to go. Plus, you risk the injuries in the NFL. How many good players have already been out? Lions have been, dropping, guys have been dropping like flies and whatever. And it's so by the time you get to the season, you get a bunch of watered down rosters. So Like, rethink this. Rethink this. Put a fan panel together and let the fans help you decide what's smart. Yeah.
Very well said. All right. We move to par 3. But first, Shot 1 is presented by North Sports Group. NSG is a boutique agency of experts with 30-plus years experience in sports sponsorship and much more. Learn more about them today at northsportsgroup.com. The wide world of golf. We had 2 tournaments finish between the last time we recorded and now. We will start in Minneapolis with the 3M Championship. Oh, wow. Open, I'm sorry, not the 3M Championship, 3M Open. Kurt Kitayama gets the win. He went 60-65 on the weekend to take home the win there. Good for him. I think his brother was on the bag, so that was cool. Sam Stevens, he's had a pretty good season. He's in the top 30 right now going into the playoffs. Pretty solid for him. Jake Knapp, solid week. Chris Goddard, he continued his heater. He got a top 10. He was kind of right there. Just didn't get over the hump. Wyndham Clark had a better week. We're not a big fan of him on this podcast, but he had a good week to kind of climb up a little higher in the standings there. Nothing else too crazy happened. I didn't watch really much except for a couple highlights on Thursday and Friday as we were traveling on Saturday, and did not see any of that on Sunday with being out of the country. But Kurt Kitayama, Dub City, good for him. He seems like a nice guy, and had some low scores there on the most water-logged course.
This weekend was right there with
right
it.
Up there. But before that, the Wyndham Championship, the last regular season event, and we have the fun stat, the 1,000th first-time winner on the PGA Tour, and that's Cameron Young.
Long time overdue.
Very long overdue. Lots of runner-ups, some good performances in majors. He finally gets over the hump, 63, 62, 65, 68. Moves from 40th to 16th in the FedEx Cup. Gets over the hump in the state where he played college golf at Wake Forest. Good for him. Wins by 6 strokes. Wasn't even really close on Sunday or Saturday for that matter. Played some really good golf. Tore up that course, that course isn't that hard for them, especially when it's soft because it rained a ton. But Donald Ross, just a classic, elevated greens, false fronts, lots of bunkers. It's a pretty golf course.
I don't know about them, but when I go play the Ross signature up at Boyne, I hate it.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, they obviously
cool but hard.
know where to put the ball better than we do. But another good performance.
We know where to put it. We just can't put it there.
Right. Yeah, we can't execute the game plan.
Yeah.
Aaron Rye, he won there last year. He had a nice week. Matt Fitzpatrick, a top 10. Ben Griffin, he got to playing better after a few weeks of not playing great. Jackson Coyven, the amateur from Auburn, finishes in the top 5. That guy's going to be a problem down the line. He's really, really good. Ian Baker Finch, he's had his farewell broadcast.
Hard to believe that CBS is done for the season for golf.
I know. Yeah, they usually do this event, but they are not this year for whatever reason. The FedEx St. Jude, but yeah, done for the year until they'll be done until California next February, or I guess it'd be probably Torrey Pines. It's probably the first weekend they do it. That's crazy. But NBC does a good job with the playoffs. I think they have a little bit better course coverage than CBS does. I think they have better depth. But yeah, looking forward to the playoffs. Going back to the 3M and our picks, not good, especially on my. Well, actually, I had picked Goddard, so he got 10th, and you had Vegas 44th, and the Wyndhams were I had picked Bud Cauley. He got 72nd, and then you had Wyndham Clark, who actually didn't end up playing, so I just gave you 30th because I didn't feel like picking some random name. So that's your gift.
It's my gift.
You're welcome.
Gift that keeps on giving all year long.
That's right. And we head to the FedEx Cup Playoffs. Not a ton of big names missing out on the FedEx Cup. I mean, Gary Woodland, he tried to get his way in there, just couldn't. He, coming back from brain surgery. I mean, that's really hard to do. he's 72nd, so he'll keep his card. Davis Thompson 3-putted on 18 to miss the playoffs. So
that's rough.
That sucks. Ben On, who had been he was solid for a couple of years. He didn't make it. Keith Mitchell, Eric Cole, to name a few. Joel Dahman.
Thigala?
No, Thigala.
He had a horrible season.
Yeah, Homa, not even close. He had 111th. He has his card for next year, so he'll be fine. Will Zalatoris, he's obviously hurt, so he did not get to play. Will not get to play. But playoffs should be fun. We're at 70 now, go down to 50.
Are we resetting since the fields are smaller, like versus who we picked all year?
No, you should have had to save guys. And that's what I did. I got Xander Schauffele going, a guy that's been good at TBC South.
Well, I was going to say I'll take Schauffele if I haven't taken him. I think I've maybe had him in a major, but I don't think.
Yeah,
I've
you had
taken
him in the Masters, but you have not taken him otherwise.
Well, or have I taken JT?
I'm not seeing his name on here for you.
I'll take Justin Thomas. I'll save Schauffele.
All right, just save him for East Lake. Rory McIlroy not playing. He got DFL there last year, so he wants nothing to do with it. So he'll wimp out and not play.
Lame. If you make the playoffs, you should have to play.
Well, yeah. I mean, how do you think that makes a Davis Thompson feel? Who,
right.
If he gets in here, maybe he wins it and he shoots up to 20 into the top 20, and then gets a big payday, gets into all the signature events, all this stuff. Kind of a win
I don't like
out
it.
of him.
It's a wuss move.
But yeah, always a good tournament. Guessing that it's going to be really hot, as it always is in Memphis, and during this time of year it's swampy.
I like that closing hole especially is really cool.
Yeah,
with the water down the left.
Yeah, and then
the guys bail out to the right, and there's trees and traps and stuff.
Yeah, and 17's really cool too. That's if you remember, I think that was 2023.
Is that the par 3 with Zalatoris?
Zalatoris and Sepp got in the playoff, and Zalatoris was between the rocks.
Yeah, rocking a hard place, literally.
I think that was his first win, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some drama like that this weekend. But real quick, another golf thing. If you haven't watched Happy Gilmore 2, highly suggested. Very good. Lots of golfers in that. Lots of celebrity cameos. Very funny and very nostalgic for the first one. So yeah, that is golf this week. And we can move to the second shot if you don't have anything else.
Nope, I'm good.
All right. And we'll do a word from our presenting sponsor after this shot. Let's do mailbag. I think you got some Chris's Palooza.
I got a couple of Chris Paloozas this week. It's been a few weeks, so he's probably not been as on getting us questions, but we got two. So this is the first. I looked at these ahead of time. This is a good question. You have 1 minute to make 100 feet of putts or drive the ball 1,000 yards in the fairway for $10 million. Which one are you choosing and why?
I'd probably the driving. I'd just probably hit like 5 3-woods.
You got to hit them in the fairway, though.
I could do that. I can hit it pretty straight.
Yeah, I'd
hit 5 3-woods, about 210 yards. Call it good. In a minute. Yeah, I feel like I'd be rushed on.
Yeah, putts. I somewhat trust my. That's a really good question.
I feel like I'd be way too rushed on putting.
I feel like I could make 10 footers in a minute.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I feel like both are good options, actually.
I think I would take the putting. It depends. I guess it probably depends. Is it like is it a flat no break putt, or is it a breaking putt? Is it a wide fairway? Like, these are some of the details I'd probably really want to know. But at the surface, I would say,
what if you didn't know?
Making an assumption, that's fair. If you didn't know, I'd still probably say putting, because I sit down here on Fridays during the winter on lunch and putt until I miss, from like 8-9 feet on our putting green. So I'd choose putting. Ryan would choose driving. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually driving the ball the last several years better than putting, but I would go putting. All right, and an what kind of sports, because they both have some sports-ish movies, but who has better movies, Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell?
Oh, That's really.
You almost have to measure that by the duds because their good movies are great, right? Like, I mean, you've got Grown Ups, you've got obviously Happy Gilmore and Happy Gilmore 2, you've got 51st. Is it 51st? Yeah, 51st Dates. Just Go With It. You've got Blended. I mean, Billy Madison. There's. So you got those, and on the Will Ferrell side, you got Kicking and Screaming, and Step Brothers, and Old School, and Semi-Pro, and maybe you've got so many good Wedding Crashers. He's not the main person in there, but I
feel like
so you almost have to go by the bad movies. Like, what are some bad movies that they're in, and go that way?
I don't feel
like I've never seen. What's that one Zoolander? Does that have? That's Ben Stiller, but does it have?
No, I don't know if
there's a movie like that where it just seems like a weird.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't put my finger on it though. He's in like in the house, that one with the.
That's actually pretty decent though. That's kind of funny. Because the other characters.
What was that terrible? What's that terrible one with the Reese Witherspoon?
Oh yeah, that was like a Netflix or a Prime movie or something.
It was terrible.
Yeah, so like I'm trying to think of some. There's probably some bad scenes.
Adam Sandler, like Jack and Jill.
Yeah, Jack and Jill, or what's awful. That? Well, there's the one that he stepped way out of bounds. We haven't seen it, but
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, yeah.
I've never
His
seen
mom
that.
says he likes that, or she likes that.
I liked.
That's a good question.
I really like the basketball one that he's in, where it's serious. Can't remember what it's called.
Oh, where he's the scout.
Yeah, that's
a good one. Yeah, I think they're different. They're slightly different humor. That's a really good question, Chris, because I think it's really hard to say. I mean, I equally like both of their movies.
Another terrible Will Ferrell movie, A Night at the Roxbury. Have you ever seen that?
I've not. That's awful. A Saturday Night Live thing.
Awful.
Yeah, I feel like there's. Oh, what is that movie? There's one Adam Sandler one like.
He's got like Little Nicky,
Nicky. Yeah, Big Daddy's okay. That's fine. That's typical, kind of funny. It's all his cast of characters, right? Like,
right.
I don't know. I think what's sneaky is like what's also a sneaky good Adam Sandler movie. What's the one that Elena put us on to?
Oh, That's My Boy.
That's My Boy. Yeah. Freaking hilarious. I never had.
I think Sandler's better. I think he's better.
I think I will go. I will go with that. I think they're really close. If I had to pick one, I would pick Sandler, but it's a really hard pick. I mean, Will Ferrell is obviously really good too. So, and they both have. I mean, in our house, we're probably watching a fair amount of movies from each of them on a regular basis. Yeah, that's what it's on.
They're on TV.
So yeah, good question. I like that.
Very good question.
All right, does Mitchapalooza have any?
No,
Mitch, you're going to lose your Mitchapalooza. Yeah. Just because you have little kids.
You got kids. Come on, man. Cut them some slack. All right. Let's hear from our presenting sponsor, Team Andrews Realty. Will help you find the home that fits your wants and needs, and they make the process simple and fun along the way. The Andrews have served thousands of clients for 30-plus years in the West Michigan area, and are here to serve you today. Learn more at teamandrews.com. Shot number 3, we are back with some Big Ten football previews. Inching closer and closer. I think the Big Ten bus tour is going on. Now it's got to be a plane because I got to go cross country.
No kidding.
So it's close when that happens. I'm seeing clips from Michigan State's practice, reading stuff, seeing interviews from coaches, players on a daily basis. So that's good to see. Finally, Michigan State cleaning up the stadium, repainted, power washing. Pinch me, am I dreaming? We got the tickets in the mail today.
Mm-hmm.
That was exciting to come home to. It's like Christmas morning. But yeah, let's hit some Big Ten teams.
What do we have? We have
3
1,
this
2,
week.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 left.
Works out perfectly.
Halfway through.
Works out perfectly. 3 to finish, and we will go to Eugene, Oregon for the Oregon Ducks, coming off of a Big Ten.
Newsflash: 2 of the best teams in this week's.
Yep. Oregon last year, Big Ten champions, their first year in the league. Beat Penn State in India. Was a good game, high scoring. 13-1. They're 13-0 going into the Rose Bowl, playing Ohio State, and Ohio State just lays the hammer on them. after a loss in Eugene by Ohio State early in the season. Close one, kind of mismanaged the clock a little bit, hit some gaffes here and there. They get him in the Rose Bowl, and it leaves a sour taste in Oregon's mouth after, what seemed like it could be a national championship roster. Lots of NFL guys. Dan Lanning, obviously a young guy, really good coach. This is 4 seasons, 35-6 overall there. I think he's going to be there for a long time unless he goes to the NFL or something. He's really solid. Like I said, key loss. I mean, Dylan Gabriel, he played college football for 1,000 years, it seems like.
Older than me.
Great college quarterback, though. Really, really good. He's gone. Jordan
winningest because he played for friggin' ever.
Yeah, no kidding. Jordan James, good back, gone. Tez Johnson, really solid receiver, gone. Terrence Ferguson, he's on the Rams now. Good tight end, gone. Tysheem Johnson, one of their best defensive backs, gone.
Derek Harmon.
Jeffrey Bassett.
Thank you.
Derek Harmon.
You're welcome from Michigan State.
First-round draft pick from Michigan State. Gone. Do have some returners, though. Noah Whittington, solid running back. I have Evan Stewart on there. Who knows if he's going to play? He had a knee injury earlier this summer. He was a really.
Said he's likely out for the season. Torn patella tendon.
It's going to be close. Maybe at the end of the year, but I wouldn't count him. He was really solid for them. So that's going to be a big missing guy. That should be returning. Bryce Bootchair, really good linebacker. I'm going to butcher this name. Titum Tuioti, linebacker. They always have the Hawaiian guys, the Samoans, and then Mateo Uliangale, brother of DJ, better than him, really good edge rusher. Kind of his coming out party against Michigan State last year, really solid edge. And as always, Oregon under Dan Lanning can get recruits, they can get transfers, 3rd best recruiting class, 5th best transfer class. Their transfer class is headlined by Emmanuel Pregnon. He's a tackle from USC, started a few years there. Mekhi Hughes, probably one of the better running backs in the portal, is coming up from Tulane. Malik Benson, who's at Florida State, pretty big receiver. Isaiah World, 6'8" tackle from Nevada, really solid. I think he was a 5-star. Dylan Steenman, if you remember that name, from Purdue. Kind of a thumper hybrid safety / linebacker. Solid guy. Bear Alexander, who was good at Georgia, and then some weird NIL stuff, played at USC. He's at Oregon now. I said the recruiting class, high school-wise, is really good. Led by DeCorian Moore, 5-star wide receiver, 5'11", number 9 player in the class, best receiver in the class, really solid. Naeem Offord, he's from Birmingham, Alabama, and they plucked him. 5-star corner. And then another 4-star corner in Brandon Finney from Owings Mills, Maryland. So the DMV. So lots of really good recruits here. How about this name in the recruiting class? Achilles Smith Jr.
Oh, yeah.
His dad.
Achilles Smith, quarterback for them.
His dad played there. They have a tight end named Vander Plug.
That's like a last name.
Yeah, it's very Dutch.
Here in West Michigan.
Yes, very Dutch. But that's Oregon. That's their roster. I mean, I'm expecting them to have a solid season as I look at their schedule here.
Yeah, I mean, the big question to me is quarterback, right? Dante Moore is a 5-star. He's good, but he's kind of small. Can he hold up for a whole season?
Threw a lot of interceptions at UCLA in his first year. Obviously sat last year behind Dylan Gabriel. He has the tools. He has the talents, just putting it together. I think that he's a really good supporting cast around him.
He'll be well coached, too. Here's the other thing, because we talk about this a lot in the season. Oregon crosses 2,500-plus miles for some Big Ten road games. They got to go to Rutgers. They got to go to Penn State. They got to go to Iowa. Iowa's not as far. We know that those long travel games are wear and tear, especially the ones that are early games.
Especially for a young team.
Like noon games for a young team.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of are in a Ohio State reload type of mode. Like, there's a lot of pieces, but there's a couple of questions.
There's guys, but they're unproven, right? I mean, that's kind of the name of college football, especially now. It's the year of the unproven quarterback, the Arch Mannings, the Julian Sayin, this Dante Moore, Bryce Underwood. I mean, I don't like him, but people are hyping him up because he's a 5-star and he's going to Michigan. There's a lot of guys I could name a bunch.
Yeah, there's a lot
of just unproven guys that are highly touted, have a big name, whatever. Then this same case here with Oregon. I think that they have a lot. Their roster is as talented as any team in the country with the way they recruited, the way they develop. They developed offensive linemen left and right, DNs, linebackers, lots of good receivers. I mean, there's no shortage of talent there. And their schedule, I mean, Montana State first, that's an easy win. Shouldn't have any trouble there. Oklahoma State,
That's a decent game. It's an Oregon.
Historically, in the Mike Gundy era, really tough. Last year was their worst season they've ever had under Mike Gundy. I'm not expecting them to be very good. I think they'll win that. Yeah. Got to travel to Evanston to take on Northwestern. That's an interesting early game for them.
Got the soccer field on the lake.
Soccer field on the lake, cross-country travel, first Big Ten game of the year.
Northwestern is not going to be very good. That's the helpful part.
I have them winning. I think they might be closer than some would expect, but have them winning that. Then they have the Civil War. I'm not going to call it anything else.
Fighting Jonathan Smith of Oregon State.
Yep. I have them winning that. That's a home game for them.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Then they travel way across the country to Happy Valley to face Penn State in what is the whiteout game. That's going to be must-see television, late September. I got them losing that one.
I do too.
I think that's going to be a really tough game. I could see them winning it, but that's going to be a tough environment. Penn State needs to have a good season.
6 Big Ten games are off that weekend. Teams are off that weekend, so that's going to be a huge weekend.
I think Alabama, Georgia's that weekend as well. It's Ryder Cup weekend. It's going to be a good sports watch. Then they have a bye week. Then they play Indiana at home, have them getting a win there.
Yep.
Travel all the way back across.
It may be a trap game, but I think Rutgers is going to be average at best, so I think they smoke Rutgers.
Yeah, I think they beat Rutgers, and they have Wisconsin at home. Wisconsin, historically a tricky team, have them winning that one.
Yep.
Bye week, travel to Iowa, have them winning that one.
I do too.
Home against Minnesota, have them getting a win there.
Mm-hmm.
And then home against
USC. Keep it in the West Coast. The
home finale, win against USC. And then I have them actually losing at Washington to finish the season. Tough. I think that's kind of a trap game for them. Washington, I like to sneak peek. I like Damon Williams Jr. Not because I was a big fan of his dad, number 9, when he played for Michigan State, but
I have them beating Washington.
Could see him winning,
and getting a rematch of their loss against Penn State. In a rematch of last year's Big Ten title game in the Big Ten title game. So I have them going 11-1, 8-1.
I got them 10-2, 7-2. I could see 11-1, 8-1, but I have them losing that Washington game in a tough environment last weekend of the season. That's the Ducks. Now we move on to the presumed favorite in the Big Ten, the Penn State Nittany Lions, coming off of a Final Four last year. You could call it losing to Notre Dame. They went 13-3, 8-1 in the Big Ten, lost in the Big Ten championship to Oregon. James Franklin, 12th season, 101-42 overall. There has been solid. Hasn't gotten over the hump. Hasn't won the big one.
Stacked roster.
Very good roster. Do have some key losses though. Tyler Warren, their do-it-all tight end. He threw passes last year. He ran the ball as a tight end. He's gone. First-round pick. Harrison Wallace, probably their best receiver last year, transferred to Ole Miss. Omari Evans, probably their second best receiver, transferred to Washington.
Their wide receiver room is completely rebuilt.
Jalen Reed, not Jaden Reed, defensive back gone. Kobe King, linebacker gone. Abdul Carter, top 5 pick, edge rusher gone.
Mm-hmm.
Key returnees, Drew Alar's back. Now, he is a guy that's, to me, is high beta. He's either going to be really, really good, or he's going to be really, really average. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be good or I think he's going to be severely mediocre or very good this year. I would
two-headed monster, Katron Allen,
and Singleton are two of the best in the country.
2,200 yards rushing, 27 touchdowns a year ago.
Really good. This is their 4th year together. That's crazy to say. They're both really, really good. I don't really have much else to say about them. Zakie Wheatley, really good safety back. Tony Rojas, linebacker. A.J. Harris, solid corner. Zane Durant, probably their best defensive tackle. Then I know he's on the freak list that they put out every year for the athletic monsters that play in college. That's Danny Dennis Sutton. Last year was really solid as like the 1A, the Robin to Abdul Carter's Batman. This guy's huge. really good athlete. Penn State always turns out
pretty
defensive
thin. I mean,
ends.
they're thin going into the season on the D line, so that could be a risk. But
They
usually have some studs.
Durant and this Dennis Sutton guy are very good. I mean, they've churned out some big time.
And a new DC, Jim Knowles came over.
Jim Knowles
from
comes
Ohio
from Ohio State after Tom Allen goes to Clemson. That's a
I think that's an upgrade.
Yes, I think Tom Allen sucked. I think he was a bad coach in Indiana, and I think he was a Midlothian defensive coordinator for Penn State. I think that their talent kind of hid him a little bit. Newcomers, 19th overall recruiting class, 41st transfer class. Not a ton of transfers, only 8 coming in. Trebor Pena, probably the best of the bunch, transfer-wise, a receiver from Syracuse. What else we got? Kyron Hudson from USC, pretty solid guy. King Mack from Alabama. Some good high school guys. Andrew Olish, 4-star tight end. LeVar Arrington II, 4-star linebacker. His dad, obviously, an absolute stud back in the day. Malachi Goodman, 5-star offensive lineman. That's crazy that cycle, when around the time I was born, those guys' sons are starting to turn up in college now. Wild. Those are kind of their best newcomers. Penn State's recruited well. Their schedule, their non-con is a cakewalk.
They could win it with their third string. Nevada may be the exception.
Nevada's okay, not great. That's where they start. Haven't winning that thing. FIU, if they were playing at Pitbull Stadium, I would say that, it might be a different story, but they're playing in Happy Valley, so a dub there.
The thing is Penn State is good for some sort of like eye-opening sleepwalk in one of those easy games, but not a loss. Like one year, like, oh my gosh, they're going to lose, and then they end up winning it by, they blow it out at halftime or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I think last year they had a struggle with like Bowling Green or something, maybe. Something like that.
Some MAC school, yeah.
Yeah. Then they play Villanova at home. If it was basketball, I would say that they're in trouble, but this is football. Haven't winning that.
And they get a bye before they play
early
Oregon.
bye, and then they play the Ducks. We discussed this. We both have them beating Oregon in the whiteout game. Then they go all the way across the U.S. to UCLA. You have them losing that game.
I have them losing to UCLA.
I have no confidence in UCLA, so I think
I don't either. But I think it's turnabout. I think it's going to end up being the equivalent of a noon game for them on the West Coast. Like they did or happened to them with UCLA going to them last year. I just think after riding high on that win against Oregon, to have to get on a plane and go to UCLA, it's a trap game for me. It's probably one of my bigger upsets in the league this year.
Yeah, I could see it, but I just have UCLA as a win for them. Northwestern at home, winning that. They go to Iowa. I think that's historically been a bit of a struggle for them. I'm guessing that could be a night game.
I guarantee it'll be a stripe to stadium night game, and Iowa does give them fits there.
Yep.
But I do think that they're going to win.
I have them winning that bye week before Ohio State. I know you picked Penn State to beat Ohio State.
I did. To get off the schneid, they have not beaten Ohio State in forever.
I have Ohio State continuing their winning ways against the Nittanies. Then they finish with 4-game stretch of home against Indiana, have them winning that. At Michigan State, have them winning that.
Maybe a trap game.
Yeah, I think Michigan State will give them a little more trouble than they have in the last few matchups. Home against Nebraska, have them winning that. And then
could be a good game.
Yeah, could be. Their senior day, and then finishing with Rutgers on the road, have them winning that. And that's both of us 11-1.
11-1, 8-1,
Big Ten.
Yep. So I've got 3 teams at 8-1: Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. I have to look at it because I have Penn State winning both, so they would be against both of those, so they'd be in. Oregon doesn't play Ohio State. They would lose to Penn State. Ohio State would lose to Penn State, but they don't play Oregon. I don't know how the tiebreaker would wind up between those, but I'm going to go with Oregon, Penn State in the Big Ten Championship again.
Yeah, I could see that. That's the Nittanies. Can they get over the hump? That's the big question.
Well, let's say
Can they win
I think
the
the
big one?
ceiling is where they are, 11-1, but I definitely think they could go as bad as 9-3. I mean, I think they could lose to Nebraska. I think they could lose to Ohio State. I think they could lose to Oregon. I don't think there's any. They could lose to but I think that they're gonna, they're kind of one of those teams under James Franklin that they've won 10+ games 3 years in a row. They do well in the regular season. It's when the big games matter that they choke. So can he win the big game? I think actually beating Ohio State this year and Oregon would give him a pass if Penn State faltered in the playoff. I think people would be like, "Oh, look, we finally got over the snot off the schneid and beat the big boys in the regular season." That's just my personal opinion, but
yeah, no, I could see that. From two Big Ten powerhouses to
from the best to the basically the worst
to a cellar dweller, Purdue, Bowler down. Barry Odom, first year, was at UNLV before. They were 1-11 last year, 0-9 in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Double yikes. They were horrible. They lost a lot.
They have 70+ new players.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, they're
like Michigan State last year. 50 transfers.
16 high school, 54 transfers.
Oh,
that's insane.
And almost no returning starters. Maccabee is about
Maccabee's
it, right?
He's it. That's what I was going to say. He's it. I mean, they lost DJ Winfield. He was a starting offensive lineman. He's going to USC. Nyland Green. He's going to Arizona State. He was a starting corner. Jamal Edrin. He was good against Michigan State last year.
You talked about going to Oregon.
Going to Virginia. Yep. And then Thiem is going to Oregon. Max Clare, good tight end, going to Ohio State. Will Held, one of the better edges in the Big Ten last year on a bad team, but he's going to Clemson. Cole Brevard going to Texas. Hudson Card, he was their quarterback the last couple of years. He's gone. Maccabee's the only one back. New faces. I mean, I could name them all, but these are the only ones that I kind of have heard of and get good ratings. Nitro Tuggle, that's a sweet name. From Georgia, receiver. Ryan Browney was at Purdue, then he transferred to North Carolina, then he transferred back to Purdue. Stupid. Jude McCoskey, tackle from Tulane, one of the better ones on the portal. Jaleel Hall, their best commit, 4-star wide receiver. And Jamarius Dinkins, not related to Mayor Dinkins from Seinfeld, defensive end from Kentucky. Otherwise, just a bunch of average guys. 64th overall recruiting class for high school, 49th transfer portal. Purdue's a really hard job, especially in today's day and age in college football.
It's a basketball
at the beginning of the Ryan Walters era, their previous coach. He thought he could get there. He's young. Maybe he could be like
We've had a lot of young coaches.
Marcus Freeman type. Comes over from Illinois. It just didn't work. He was horrible. Didn't relate. There's some weird things going on toward the end of last year with him. Gets fired. He's Washington's DC now, which is funny. But really hard job. Jeff Brom obviously had success. Before that, it was tough sledding with
Joe Tiller was good.
Joe Tiller was good for a few years, and then they had Daryl Hazel. He was horrible. There's someone else in between there that was bad. Then Brown was decent. Then leaves for his alma mater. It's kind of the cover is very.
They're gonna have to hope
they don't care about football.
That the Odom's DC Shearer that he brought from UNLV is decent because he's got an aggressive scheme. Because Purdue otherwise is not. I mean, they got beat by Indiana 66-0. They lost to Notre Dame 66-7. So they lost to their two in-state rivals 132-7.
They almost beat Michigan State though.
Well, that's not a surprise. They beat us way more often than they should.
Yeah.
Should we get into their schedule?
Yeah. I feel bad talking about them. Ball State, in-state rival. Big dub to start the season for Purdue.
Ball State's not bad either, but I think they win that and give a feel-good start. And then Southern Illinois, I think they get that.
Win it. Then I'm going to be honest with you. I have them losing the next 10.
I do too.
USC loss. Then they go to Notre Dame. They probably won't be able to bring that stupid drum loss and their creepy mascot. Bye week.
Purdue Pete the pedophile?
Yes. Home against Illinois, loss. At Minnesota, loss.
At Northwestern,
loss. Home against Rutgers, loss. At Michigan, loss. Ohio State, loss. At Washington, loss. Bye. And then losing again to Indiana, 2-10, 0-9 for the second consecutive year in the Big Ten.
I could see like if something crazy happens and they just start really good behind the scenes. maybe they could squeak out 4. Rutgers is
I think 4 is their absolute
potentially.
ceiling.
Indiana's not going to be as good this year, but
I think 2 is their floor. They're not going to lose to Ball State.
No, 2 is their floor, and 4 is probably their ceiling. But I think they're going to be on the floor, and I do think they'll make improvements. I think they'll be much more competitive than they were last year. They're not going to lose 66-0 or 66-7, but it's going to take some time, especially with that much of a young and turned over roster. We saw it with Michigan State last year. It's hard to get that cohesion, and cohesion in your bottom 40 is where rubber meets the road, right? It's like not 3-putting in golf. It's like not making the flub chip in golf, like wasting strokes. Your bottom 40 and your cohesion are the things that are like help you to avoid those football version of 3-putts. And I just don't know that there's 3.5 weeks of preseason time is enough to do it.
Yeah, no.
Here's a fun fact. They scored 13 first quarter points last year.
Oh.
And they had 9 rushing touchdowns all year.
Oh, boy.
Opponents had 33.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's rough. That's pretty rough stuff. Okay, enough with the somber Boilermakers. Let's sprint this baby home. Do the Lions make a pass at Micah Parsons?
No.
I don't think so.
I think they'd have to give up too much.
Give up too much, I think he's a diva.
Yeah, I don't think they're willing to do it. Well, now, would it be great? Sure.
Yeah, would he pair well with Hutch? Yeah, he absolutely would, but yeah, that's a
you don't want to mortgage. That's a big gamble to take, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is he a locker room guy in OKG? No.
Most overhyped coach in college football?
Good question.
I'm saying James. Big game James.
Franklin, yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's had a lot of success, but he hasn't gotten over the hump. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Did the Tigers do enough at the trade deadline?
I literally wrote that question down to ask in the mailbag, and I forgot, so I'm glad that you asked that. Actually, my question was, I'll say they filled the majority of the gaps they needed in the pitching, not necessarily with any splashes.
I think they filled gaps, but they weren't.
Here's my question. I'll ask one back to you. Is there a guy that they can get for the September and on push, a la a Sean Casey, like they got back several years ago, and somebody like Verlander I've heard floated around? Like, is there a guy like that they could pick up in September?
If someone drops them, yeah, I mean they could.
Is there a hitter that could fill a void, or are they just going to keep riding that? Some of these guys that have been hurt, or like Meadows and whatever, although he's hurt again, are going to be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I think they're just going to ride it. I don't see them. The reason why they didn't do anything is because they didn't want to mortgage their future guys, which I get, but I mean, sometimes you just get, like, they're only going to have School Bowl for one more year after this. Like, he's the best pitcher in baseball. I think they should have been a little more aggressive.
Yeah, probably a little bit more aggressive. But here's the thing, in the playoffs, when you've got, like, 2 good starters, and Mize has been a little bit more mediocre lately, but with Skubal and Mize, I mean, that's a big edge going into the playoffs. So,
yeah, definitely.
We shall see.
I'll say that they were a little underwhelming, but that's okay. Last and certainly not least, this is more of just like a general thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how badly does there need to be a timer in amateurs golf carts on basically like a shot clock, and how long they have to play the hole, and if they don't play in that, they get moved to the next hole?
Yeah, I mean, you see some, like we played this weekend, there's the how many, where you are on pace, and it's one thing if you're lagging behind and you're behind pace, or if you're held up by other people. Yeah, I mean, I think something that either, like, I don't know how you would do it, but yeah, like, you send a signal and you just keep the foot on the gas for the cart automatically, and you don't get to stop at the green.
Technology's good enough.
Proceed directly past go. Do not pass go. Go directly to jail type of thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe that's another thing we can invent.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Golf should be 4 hours or less, even if you want to enjoy it. 4 hours or less is plenty.
That's 100% the truth. All right, that is our 235th episode. If you have any questions you want us to hit on here in the next few weeks, any insights on football teams, let us know. But we appreciate everyone listening. And we're looking forward to football coming here very, very shortly.
Meantime, as former President Woodrow Wilson once said, if you've made up your mind you can do something, you're absolutely right.